You may know some of the people on our list, and others may surprise you. In honor of Veterans Day, we'd like to look at some famous folks you may or may not know are veterans.
Let's dig into this.
George Carlin was in the U.S. Air Force. Yep, the comedian who liked to break the rules and was arrested in 1972 for saying his 7 dirty words you can't say routine on stage in Milwaukee, was in the U.S. Air Force. He trained as a radar electronics technician and was stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. He was court-martialed 3 times and received numerous reprimands, but was honorably discharged in 1957.
Johnny Cash. The man in black once wore a military uniform. In 1950, Cash joined the Air Force as the Korean War started. He spent most of his enlistment in Germany as a Morse code operator for the USAF Security Service intercepting Soviet communications. After being discharged at the rank of Staff Sergeant in 1954, he used his GI benefits to take radio announcer courses. Good thing for all of us he decided to make records and not just play them for us on the radio.
Extraordinary guitarist James Marshall Jimi Hendrix enlisted in the Army in 1961. The legend is that he was caught stealing cars and told he could go to jail or join the service. We can't prove that story, but we can tell you Hendrix was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division, stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and earned the Screaming Eagles patch as a paratrooper. He only served a year before being discharged due to injury he received during a jump.
Actor Morgan Freeman wanted to be a pilot. He joined the U.S. Air Force in 1955. He reportedly changed his mind about the pilot thing as soon as he got into a cockpit. He became a radar tracking technician and reached the rank of Airman First Class. He would serve until 1959 and go on to be one of our most talented actors, playing roles from criminals to gods.
Golden Girl Bea Arthur, real name Bernice Frankel, was one of the first women to enlist in the Marine Corps Women's Reserve in 1943. She was 21 years old. She served almost 3 years, first as a typist at Marine headquarters in Washington, D.C., and then as a dispatcher and driver in North Carolina. She was a staff sergeant when discharged in 1945.
Did you know Chuck Norris doesn't swim? Water just wants to be around him. Chuck Norris didn't need the military. The military needed Chuck Norris. Real name Carlos Ray Norris. Chuck, as he became known during his service, joined the Air Force in 1958 and was an air police officer. He was stationed at Osan Air Base in South Korea, where he reportedly learned much of his martial arts skill and earned many of his black belts. He was discharged in 1962.
Comedian Richard Pryor joined the U.S. Army in 1958 after a rough childhood. Stationed in West Germany, he reportedly spent almost all of his time in the military in the stockade after an unfortunate, racially charged incident where a man was beaten by a group Pryor was with. He agreed to an early honorable discharge offered in 1960.
Blue-eyed actor Paul Newman joined the Navy and wanted to be a pilot until he discovered he was colorblind. He trained as a radioman and a turret gunner and was assigned to the aircraft carrier Bunker Hill just before the Battle of Okinawa in 1945. Newman missed a kamikaze attack on the ship when the pilot assigned to take him and the others to the ship couldn't fly on the assigned day. The attack killed hundreds on the ship. Newman was awarded 5 medals for his military service and was discharged in 1946 as an aviation radioman, 3rd class.
Actor Adam Driver joined the Marines just after his 18th birthday and the 9/11 attacks. Serving at Camp Pendleton, California, he was assigned to the 1st Marine Regiment as an 81 millimeter mortar man. Scheduled to be deployed to Iraq, a sternum fracture led to Driver being medically discharged before deployment. He was a lance corporal. He would go on to study at Juilliard and win numerous acting awards.
Magnum PI and Blue Blood star Tom Selleck was drafted during the Vietnam War in 1967. He joined the California National Guard and served in the 160th Infantry. He would serve 6 years and be honorably discharged in 1973 at the rank of sergeant. He has continued to support the military ever since he became a spokesperson for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund.
The USS Enterprise's Leonard Nimoy joined the U.S. Army Reserves in 1953. He served in the Special Services Division, which is the branch devoted to entertainment. Nimoy wrote, narrated, and directed shows for service members, serving 18 months at Fort Ord, California, Fort Benning, and Fort McPherson, Georgia. In 1955, he left the service at the rank of Staff Sergeant. Legendary actor and director Clint Eastwood was drafted into the Army in 1951 during the Korean War. He was stationed at Fort Ord, California as a swimming instructor. When a plane he was on crashed into the Pacific, he swam over a mile to shore. He was discharged in 1953 and studied drama at LA City College using his GI Bill benefits.
Funny man Gene Wilder, real name Jerome Silberman, was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1956. Assigned to the Medical Corps, he trained at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. After training, he served as a paramedic in the psychiatric unit in the Valley Forge Army Hospital in Pennsylvania. He was discharged honorably in 1958.
Wheel of Fortune's Pat Sajak joined the Army in 1968 during the Vietnam War. He served first as a finance clerk before being sent to Saigon as a disc jockey with Armed Forces Radio, where he, like the other Vietnam disc jockeys, actually did say, "Good morning, Vietnam," almost every day he was on the air. He has said in interviews that he carried guilt over his service being much easier than most, but there's a lot to be said for entertaining the troops.
Comedian and actor Rob Riggle was another pilot hopeful when he joined the service. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Marine Corps Reserves in 1992. He served as a public affairs officer who was deployed to Kosovo and Afghanistan, among other places. He has received numerous commendations and medals for his service. He retired in 2013 at the rank of lieutenant colonel, but has continued to work with the USO entertaining troops. He is an outspoken supporter of the U.S. military and its service to this day.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video.
And we want to give a huge thank you to all of our veterans, current and past.
We'll see you on the next one.